With Sons of the Forest full release, I wanted to make a quick and simple video showcasing some tips and tricks, because what I've noticed is a lot of new players are coming into the game with full release who didn't play during the early access period, and there are a few things the game doesn't generally explain to you nor tell you about the game, and these are just going to be some overall tips to help your progression and help make things a lot easier and give you a better understanding of some of the mechanics in the game. We're not going to go over building, we're going to go over general gameplay rules and where to find items, how items work, different things like that. If you enjoy the video, drop a like on it and subscribe for all things open world survival crafting. But without further ado, let's get straight into it. First tip is going to be go into your inventory and go to your backpack, and you'll notice that you can use the right mouse button, add items. What this is going to do is you can remove specific items from your backpack like this and hold items that you want to have easily accessible. Water is a good choice. Medicine is a good choice. You also probably want some food, maybe some energy drinks, and some weapons that you generally don't fully use. The spear is fantastic, but you guys know you can always hotkey that. A good one to put there would be like a bow or the crossbow. We'll add that. And what this does is when you're in the game, as you guys know, you press tab and it opens your inventory. If you hold tab, you're able to use items while you're running. So if you're in the middle of combat, you want to pop some heals, you want to pop food, and you still want to play, you quickly do that, and your guy is eating, taking pills, or you can swap weapons while running. Now, you're initially going to stop walking when you fully open it up, but then you can quickly click on the item and continue walking. It's just an easier way for you guys to have access to different items on the fly. Another way you can easily change items is hotkeying them with 1 through 0. You can have up to 10 different items hotkeyed. I usually have only 3. I have my axe, whatever axe I'm using, usually the modern axe, and then I have spears. And then I'll usually have medicine as 3 or water, depending. Just so it's a quick and easy way to swap to your weapons. Now onto our second tip, and this is a big one. As you guys are running around the forest, you guys are going to collect so many different herbs, berries, different items, whatever it may be. I highly, highly recommend it. Like skin pouches, I highly recommend you guys just open these up immediately so you can continue to pick them up. Skin pouches especially because they give you so many different items. And even if you're maxed on those items, they're going to delete. But it is always good to be maxed out on everything that you have. So as you're finding different pieces for crafting recipes, you'll be able to be fully maxed. As you guys can see, I have a bunch of vodka bottles. I have a bunch of cloth. So what I would do is just make as many of these as I can. So then I know I'm maxed on Molotovs, as well as once I do use up all my Molotovs, I will have a backup of cloth as well as vodka bottles to then make more. Same thing goes for bombs. Make as many bombs as you can, whatever it may be. You can always be maxed out on not only the crafted item, but the materials to then craft it again. This next tip is directly associated with food. I made a full video in early access about the dry rack. The dry rack mechanic, they don't fully tell you exactly how it works. There is a little hint on one of the loading screens, but there is a chance that you haven't seen it yet. I have my dry rack inside. As you guys can see, this has been here for numerous days. Even though I put a fire under it, none of this is drying out. The way you want to build dry racks is you want to put them outside. You want to put them in the sun. And when they're in the sun, they're going to dry out the fish, the meat, whatever it may be, a lot faster. Not only that is you're going to want to put a fire underneath it to even boost that drying potential even faster. And it can go as low as 30 minutes to fully dry meat. It's a lot quicker, so don't put your dry rack indoors. Keep in mind though, the cannibals target dry racks. Keep in mind the cannibals and mutants tend to try to go for dry racks immediately. Those are like their main target, your food source. But as a general rule of thumb, do not make your dry racks indoors like I did. It is doable, it is workable, but depending on how closed in your building is, if it's close to a window, if there's no sunlight, whatever it may be, and you have a fire under it, it could take upwards to 3 days to fully dry out that food. You throw 2 sticks down, then you can light the fire, and there you go. When using a fire, as you guys know, you throw 2 sticks down, and then you can light the fire. Once the fire is lit, it lasts for a specific amount of time, but I highly recommend using fire logs. It really boosts not only the comfort of your base, the warmth level you have, but they also boost the drying duration for items. You could put up to 2 of these logs in here, and it's really going to provide you with a lot more warmth than it would if you didn't have these. So keep that in mind. When having a weapon out, whether it's a shotgun, whether it's a bow, whether it's a recurve bow, you can change the type of ammo or arrow you are using. If you look down at the weapon, you'll notice that a prompt will pull up. It'll tell you what kind of ammo type you are currently using. Obviously, different ammo types are better for specific situations, whether it's hunting, whether it's fighting cannibals, fighting mutants, bosses, whatever it may be. Overall, when it comes to the arrows, the carbon fiber arrows are the best, but stone arrows can also be super good too because you can light those on fire. You could turn them into explosive arrows, whatever it may be across the board. All the boxes and containers in the game by default do not respawn. It doesn't matter how many days you've played. If you reload your save, they will not respawn. In order to make this be a mechanic, when creating a game, you're going to have to go to custom settings and choose it as an option. Now, when you go into the main menu and you go to gameplay, you do have the ability to put tree regrowth on and structure damage on as well. These you can change at any moment on the fly, but if you want to be able to change the ability to make these boxes respawn, just to make it easier for you if you're going for a lighter survival mode, you have to set that in custom settings. I do not recommend playing hard survival. The only thing about hard survival that is great, it does make the health management, the food management, and the water management a lot more difficult, which is what we enjoy in a survival game. But all it does to the enemies is it makes them bullet sponges. They become so spongy, they are hard to kill. So I highly recommend going to custom settings and tweaking it a little bit, making the survivability a lot harder when it comes to food and water, but making the enemies not that difficult to kill, because you can ramp up their difficulty a little bit, but if you just play hard survival, it is just unreal how spongy the enemies become, and the fights are just long-winded, and it is not fun overall. When it comes to combat and the general world, the world and enemies are going to get a lot harder in terms of fighting, whether that's the damage you output, the aggressive level that the cannibals and mutants are, as well as the damage they output as well. The longer you are alive, the stronger they get. What this means is, say I haven't died in numerous days, they're just going to get stronger and stronger, and there's going to be more of them. If you die, that resets it. Now, I'm not talking about complete death, because as you guys know, if you die 2 times in a row without saving, you will have to load your last save. If you die once and get captured and you get put on a post, you get put under the water, whatever it may be, the cannibals and mutants will reset in difficulty level. So just keep that in mind. If you're surviving for a very long time and things are getting aggressive, they're attacking your base more often, there's more of them on screen at a time, more of them in raid parties. That's because you've been alive for a long duration. So sometimes it may be good to just kill yourself off and not have to worry about the aggressiveness of the players. I also recommend doing this before going into the major cave systems, bunkers, as well as fighting different bosses. Kind of dub down their difficulty level by killing yourself prior to going in. As some of you guys know, there are batteries in the game. Many things in the game take batteries, whether it's the flashlight, the stun baton, the chainsaw, all those things, they take batteries. As your batteries are going down, you're going to notice on these devices they have a battery indicator. If you're in a cave or at night with your flashlight, or you're using the chainsaw, don't worry about using your batteries too early. If you have batteries in your inventory, it is going to auto refill the battery level of those devices. See how I have half battery in my flashlight? If I combine it with my batteries, I'm going to waste the batteries. So I only filled the battery level halfway and I wasted a battery. If I would have let the flashlight go to 0, it would have auto-filled, and I would have utilized that battery more efficiently. As you guys notice, on the UI next to water and food, there is a muscle indication. This goes up from 0 to 100. 100 is the max level it can go up, and pretty much anything in the game boosts that. Cutting down trees, running, climbing, whatever it may be, gets your strength up. Even combat does. One of the easiest ways to get this up extremely fast is literally pick up logs, throw them down. And if you do this repetitively, you'll be able to get that level up a lot faster. What this strength does is every level that you have gives you 1 more point to your damage attribute when it comes to melee combat. Level 100 being the max, that gives you 100 more points to melee combat, which is amazing later on in the game. They're dealing with armored enemies, higher level mutants, or just overall groups in general. If you want to boost this up a lot faster, either just do combat or pick up logs and throw them down, because it does take quite a while to get this level all the way up to 100. My personal opinion, with over hundreds of hours in the title, you guys may think this is a little weird. The best weapon in the game has to be the crafted spear. Not only can you hold multiple of them and you can throw them at enemies and then easily run up to them and be able to pick it up. I know picking up spears currently is a little wonky. They really need to change that UI. From early access to full launch, it did change and it made it a lot harder to pick up your spears. The reason why they are so fantastic is when going against mutants, especially if you go for the legs, whether it's the fingers, whether it's an arms, whatever it may be, if you go for the legs, you can stun lock the mutant. You can even do this with cannibals, and what it'll do, it gives you the ability to keep your distance, constantly attack, as well as stun the enemy to get them dropped on their knees or fall to the ground. Then you could switch to your axe and do even more damage with a better weapon. To use the spear, so using the spear is an efficient tool, not only for hunting, gathering fish, but just combat in general. I hope this video helped you out a little bit with some different mechanics in the game. If you guys have any questions, be sure to let me know down in the comment section below. I've put so many hours into this game. There's a lot of mechanics that can be discussed. I could honestly make a guide video on this game and it could be an hour, 2 hour long long video. So I just wanted to take some key points for the new players that are coming into the game, whether it's new to the Forest and Knights titles altogether or new to just a full release. I appreciate every single one of you guys. Be sure to drop a like on this video if it helped you out at all, and subscribe for all things open world survival crafting. And as always, guys, stay happy, stay hyped, and have a beautiful day.